And live performances on Nashville's Music Row, there's a different sound on the streets. Representing an industry that brings in even more money for the city. Healthcare rakes in nearly 7 times as much as the music biz each year.
In 1967, there were zero publicly held health service companies here.
Now there are 16 in the Nashville area. Healthcare companies generate $67 billion annually for Nashville's economy, compared to the music industry's $10 billion.
That's because it is the hub, it is the corporate office of healthcare chains that touch all 50 states.
Former Senator Bill Frist, who's also a heart and lung transplant surgeon, witnessed the city's healthcare boom firsthand. Today, he runs a venture capital firm in Nashville, Frist Cressy Ventures.
10 years ago, there were probably 3 firms investing in venture capital in Nashville, and they only did maybe 50% in healthcare. Frist Cressy Ventures is 7 years old, and we do nothing but health services. And now there are about 22 to 25 venture firms just in the last really 8 years that have come to Nashville.
And that flow of capitals caught the attention of global business leaders. The week of our interview, Frist held a conference at this farm outside of Nashville.
Everybody here was invited for a specific reason.
And he brought some pretty big names up to the stage. Alex Gorski, the former CEO of Johnson & Johnson. Fred Smith, the founder and chairman of FedEx. And Oracle chairman Larry Ellison all showed up to speak with healthcare startup founders.
They get people to think big and think global, and to address these issues, we got to bring them together. And where better to do that than the city that has founded their health services on collaboration, on getting the best ideas possible out there and putting them into action with the flow of capital and make them explode to the benefit of 300 million Americans around this country.
More than $1.6 billion in venture capital has been invested in Nashville healthcare companies over the last 10 years. Investments that have created a thriving startup community. It's a healthcare boom that started 50 years ago when Frist's dad, brother, and Jack Massey, the owner of KFC, yes, the fried chicken chain, started one of the nation's largest for-profit hospital chains in Nashville back in 1968.
HCA is a Hospital Corporation of America. Today, it's probably 170 hospitals in 30-odd states. What is significant about HCA is that it became the nucleus of this explosive growth in health services.
The beginning of what would become a cluster of major hospitals, alongside top medical schools, that would eventually lead to thousands of healthcare businesses that support nearly 168,000 jobs. The industry provides more jobs than any of the city's other major economic drivers.
It starts with a cluster. By human nature, people want to come to a city where there are other people being trained, where entrepreneurship is valued, and then other people want to come to be a part of this train, this fast-moving, exciting train.
In addition to talent, the cluster also attracts money.
So there's always been reasonable access to capital in Nashville, but I think it's exploded over the past decade.
Startup founder Brad Smith is no stranger to raising capital. He started 3 healthcare companies in Nashville.
So I think where a lot of people are coming through Nashville maybe once a year, twice a year looking for deals, people have either moved offices here or they're coming through almost every month looking for deals.
Frist is an investor and co-founder in Smith's latest startup, CareBridge.
CareBridge is a telehealth company focused on serving patients with physical, intellectual, and developmental disabilities. We send a cellular-enabled tablet to patients' home to give them 24/7 access to doctors, nurse practitioners, and physical therapists.
Smith says his company's objective is simple: save the government money on its most expensive Medicaid patients. The top 3%, he says, cost the system on average $50,000 a year each.
Our goal is to help keep these patients out of the hospital and lower that total cost, and then we're able to share in a portion of that savings.
He says CareBridge has grown from 100 employees to 500 employees in just 2 years. The company's growth made possible in part by a steady flow of capital.
We've raised about $180 million.
Smith says he's raised $40 million to start CareBridge, and later another $140 million from the 4 biggest Medicaid health plans in the country. So what role does the city of Nashville play in his company's success?
I think what's great about Nashville is there's a lot of homegrown talent. And because there's so many different healthcare companies here who are doing innovative things, solving new problems, it's easy to recruit folks out of those companies as they sell or as they reach different stages to be able to come join earlier stage companies.
Southern hospitality, when somebody moves to town, you still take them an apple pie. And it sounds hokey, but that is the spirit. It's the spirit I grew up in, it's the spirit that's been passed on, and it's the spirit that has come to the business world.
Whether it's the apple pie or the potential for huge profits, Frist believes the healthcare industry will continue to thrive in Nashville.
Since 1960, there have been 6 generations of healthcare entrepreneurs, of healthcare managers, of people who've been doing it in a way state of the art. And that's why people come here with their venture companies. They say, where can we go to get the very best, smartest, most experienced, young, energized people to run our company? And that is here in Nashville.
Shifting gears now from Nashville's healthcare arena to its sports stadiums, where Major League investors